Good afternoon, everybody. Polly and Sarah here from Maybe. Great to see so many of you signed up for today's webinar. As you come streaming in, it's always a nice moment when you see people come streaming in. We've got a really good agenda for you today. We're going through current content that is driving people to your high streets. And then I'm not embarrassed to say we're talking about the C word quite extensively. With me today, I have got Sarah Bassett. And please, I think you'll find the chat is disabled on Zoom for us at the moment, and we find it better using Q&A because we can manage the Q&A quite well. We have so many people on our webinars now. Yeah, we need to put people in a queue, so sorry. Please do use the Q&A, ask us any questions as you go through. And without further ado, we'll get started. It's hello from me. I'm Polly Barnfield. I'm CEO of Maybe, and it's hello from Sarah.
Hello. Good afternoon. Here we are in autumn. My name's Sarah Bassett. I'm head of growth at Maybe, and I work with local authorities, business improvement districts, and large membership organisations in the main to help people get the most out of social media.
Thank you, Sarah. So I have to admit, Sarah's done an awesome job of putting these slides together, and we will co-present them today. Highlights today are that we're going to look at how you can really harness social media as a local authority and hold a helping hand out to local businesses to help them establish a digital presence that really connects what you say online with the community, and at the end of the day contributes to economic growth, because that's what matters. And we're going to take a really good dive at sort of Q4 campaign strategies. You've got lots of events coming up: Halloween, Bonfire Night, Diwali, and I always get that wrong. And coming up to Christmas. All of those are opportunities to bring people to your high street and your place. But what defines, increasingly what defines what we do is what we see online. So how well you communicate that really matters. I mean, diving into that today. And as well as those big events, you've also got lots of special days. So Mental Health Day, National Adoption Week. There are lots of things out there that you can append your message to join up with other communities. Everything we do is supported by AI highlights. We're going to really show how those can work for you today. I'm also going to touch on how what you do as a local authority can really impact your local SMEs, and how there's a really important symbiotic relationship that we bang on a lot about. Sorry. Why do we do that? Well, in 2023, there are an estimated 4.9 billion people using social media across the world, and it's just going to grow. By 2027, it's going to be closer to 6 billion people. There's a lot of people spending a lot of time on their phone. This is the really scary stuff, is that if you look at the data in the UK, and we know this because we listen to the data from 3.9 million businesses every single day, that actually only 9% of SMEs across the country post at the weekend. That's the time when people are looking at their phone most and thinking, what should we do next? Only 19% of businesses actually have an active social media account. So the other, I can't do the maths in my head, 79%, is that right? Yeah,
81.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Sarah. Having a bad day with maths today. 81% are, they're mute. They're not reaching those people spending all that time on the phone. So as a local authority, how can you help? Well, you can be noisy, you can share your place, and you can share their content too. Because if you're not in it, you won't win it. And if you're not in it, you can't win the customer either. We work with the High Street Task Force to provide data into the High Street Task Force dashboard. I hope you're using it. What you've got is a cloud that shows digital sentiment, both at a national level and a local level. What this data highlights to us is there's a really big national conversation. All those national brands have got lovely big digital teams spending oodles on sending people to their websites, not their places. Very few big brands talk about place. They all talk about their website. And if you look at the graph on the right-hand side, digital participation, the orange chunks, this is just a sample graph, but this trend bears out everywhere. The orange blob is the national brands. The little blob, green blob, is the local brands. And the orange line at the top is the total potential participation. So the major noise in every place across the UK is the digital activity from national organisations who are singularly talking about their websites and not talking about place. And one other thing you do in the High Street Task Force dashboard is you can link your digital activity to your footfall. And so you can start to see those things match up. I'm not going to tell you what happens if you do that, but it's quite interesting. And you can see bottom right how the content is split between Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Should be X, but I still call it Twitter. Gosh, it's hard work keeping up these days, isn't it, Sarah? But you know, you've got everything you need in your High Street Task Force dashboard to see what's going on. But also you've got a massive data within maybe as well, which you've all got complementary access to for one member of your team. We can see what areas of the country are making the most digital noise. And you can see here how middle column, active on social media. Oh, sorry. Active on social media. It's just low. It's just, you know, percentage of business that are active on social media is woefully low. I won't bang on about that because I do get quite ratty about it quite a lot of the time. How can we help resolve this challenge? It's what we spend our day doing. We are a platform that helps businesses take the guesswork out of social media, and increasingly much more, because we realise that the more work we do, that social media is just the tip of the iceberg, where they've got real problems with most things digital. We have added a layer of AI to our platform. That means that we can help businesses create their content. We can help them. We can give them AI-powered answers to any questions they've got around anything digital, because there's just so much to do, and it's really hard. We help them compare themselves to other businesses so they can learn how to perform better, and the same applies to you as local authorities. You can look at what you're doing and how you could compare better to potentially another place that somebody's thinking of going. We're going to talk today about key events like Amazon Prime, who on October the 10th and 11th will start taking people's money. And you've got to think about how you're going to compete against that. How are you going to stop people spending money with them and spend money with you? Because you've got great events coming up. You've got Halloween, you've got Guy Fawkes, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Christmas. How can you say that, come and spend my money with us? How, as a local authority, can you do that? And then you've got all these lovely hashtag events that are great conversations to append your conversation to. Has anybody asking any questions yet, Sarah? You've got a stream of questions. Oh, I can see one from Frank. Frank, yeah, you're asking how is this relevant to can local authorities really impact how things work for SMEs? But yes, you've got a whole audience that is looking at your content. It might be for road closures or, you know, when the bin's been collected. But if you share what your local businesses are doing, you're sharing conversation from the locality, and the impact that you can have by aggregating and sharing that conversation is really big. And blend that with the local chocolate shop for Chocolate Week through your channels, and the impact can be much bigger. Sarah, wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. Funny one from Diane. She's looking forward to Gin and Tonic Day. Me too.
Oh gosh, aren't we all? Can I have like a bottle?
No, I mean, absolutely. I mean, this Amazon Prime deal weekend, this is a new thing by Amazon. You know, this Christmas, they are really upping their game to try and get people's money. And as, you know, SMEs, as visitor attractions, as the leisure, as the hospitality industry, all of those different wonderful sectors that make up our high streets, our town centres, our local economies, we've really got to make sure that we help those businesses and local authority and the stakeholders all engage in that local conversation and really grab the attention of A, visitors to our place, and B, visitors to our place, but also our local communities. Shop local this Christmas, you know, add something with social value. We talked about that, and I'll talk about that in a little bit more detail, but we've got to be part of the conversation, because the nationals will have their money.
So Sarah, well said. So back to your question around how much impact can local authorities have. I just think you have such an opportunity to use your local businesses' content to be at the heart of your conversation. It encourages more businesses to do it, because if they see their content being shared far and wide, I think, oh, blimey, if I did that, that would happen too. And B, you are the sum of your place, so make that content sing. Sarah, tell me what's singing around Halloween.
Well, this is just a little look very quickly at last year. You know, what was last year all about? You know, they'd had a couple of years of seasonal events cancelled or operating at reduced capacity. And the type of content that worked really well was inviting people to events. People were looking forward to getting out and about and being able to immerse themselves safely into Halloween and Diwali and Christmas and all these different events. So this is just a nice example of a really highly engaged piece by Shop Silverburn, which looking at Spooktacular, and I just really liked it. They've made a really good use of video. It's really engaging, it got loads of likes and so on. And then, you know, you've got the big boys. Fortnum's 9 times out of 10 ahead of the game in most of the conversations and around anything seasonal. And of course, you know, I particularly like this as a really good example of a footfall driving post. You know, so many of us sort of are convinced that, oh, you know, social's all about, you know, doing things online and shopping online and buying online. Actually, this is all about them driving footfall into store. They're showcasing their famous window displays, and they're looking, you know, as the terrifying toad who's made out of chocolate. But, you know, it's encouraging. People will make a trip to the iconic Piccadilly store to see them. So it's, you know, it's about engaging our communities and our customers and our shoppers in experience, as well as we've got this to sell for you to buy for somebody for Christmas. You know, it's about the whole seasonality of this next couple of months. You know, we've sort of come out of summer, moving into autumn, the kids back at school. We're kind of aware that Halloween's not far away, but a lot of the shops have got Christmas in and so on. You know, it's important to be part of the conversation. Now, I found some great examples for Halloween in particular, where local authorities and stakeholders, in particular DMOs, destination management organisations, are really been ahead of the game. I mean, this is as far back as the end of September, where, you know, Visit Wales are talking about events that they've got coming up. South Wales's Ultimate Scarefest is unleashed. Lovely use of emojis. Swarms of unnerving monsters and impressive fire breathing shows. Look at that, 247 likes and 4 comments. And this was a screenshot that I took at the time. This was literally that day. And great, again, use of video. It's really immersive. It's about entertainment, about engaging. It's about place. Then Hereford Voice. I thought this was a great image. And there's a series of images within this post, but it's all about what's on and where you can go and all the different events that are going on. They've even taken Halloween and made it relevant to October half term. Actually, that's not that far away. I know it feels like the venture's gone back to school, but crikey, it'll be here before we know it. Half term, we've got to engage the children. Some of the parents will be doing perhaps a bit of Christmas shopping at that time. And then we've got this Halloween themed festival, which will be touring the counties, 5 market towns. Brilliant. So it's about talk about the whole place. I just think it's a really well curated content, and it's just lovely. Where have we got to? Next one, please.
Love that image. It's beautiful, isn't it? Really beautiful.
It's about family.
Picture speaks 1,000 words. It's just bob on. 10 out of 10 for that.
Yeah. This one caught my eye because, you know, we're talking about Halloween, but actually we see the pattern where you engage people that are interested in sport in a theme or a season or a conversation. That whole sporting event piece is so powerful in communities and driving community engagement in events that you're curating. So I just thought this was a really great idea, that Oldham Halloween half, and it's, you know, it's about doing a half marathon and so on, but just a really nice piece of clever marketing around, you know, making sporting events more seasonal. And then Visit Leicester, I love a lot of their content, but I thought this was a lovely spooky image, and they've done a blog on a whole host of horrific Halloween activities and events, and they've put the link to the blog in their bio. They've even tagged in where they got the photo from, which is a local organisation, and great use of place level hashtags. Because if we're talking about events and things that are happening locally to us, then actually you've got to be the scroll stopper. And actually our eyes are trained to look at hashtags that are relevant without us realising we've even read it. And because this is all about Leicester, if I'm in Leicester or I'm visiting Leicester, I'm going to stop and have a look at it. It's going to be relevant to me. If those local hashtags weren't there, I probably wouldn't stop. That's just my thought on that one. So if you haven't already, which I'm sure most of you have, but maybe a lot of your SMEs are sort of only just starting to think about creating content. We produce a blog, or blogs all the time, but this one is a really nice one. You can go and access it. You're more than welcome to share the link with your business support providers or your SMEs, or put it on your website, whatever you like. But there's some great, we've got 100 spooktacular suggestions around social media content this October, and there's all sorts of really interesting topics, not just Halloween, but it actually happens to be National Book Month as well. Go Sober for October, Black History Month. There are so many conversations that you and your local stakeholders and SMEs can engage with. So I showed this slide last week, and I just think it's last week. It feels like last week. It was actually last month. Good Lord. Doesn't time fly when you're having fun? This is really powerful data. Polly's just talked about the fact that only 19% of SMEs are active on social media, and yet, I can tell you that 82% of consumers spend over an hour a day on social media, and I would imagine it's probably an awful lot more. It's where people are going for information and inspiration. It's where they're communicating with each other. They're being sociable. They're talking about stuff, where they're going, where their places they live in, their communities, all sorts of different, every conversation you can think of. But what we need to think about from a local authority perspective and stakeholder perspective is how do we embrace social media this holiday shopping season? Because Salesforce, a massive CRM company, have done a big platform, rather. They've done a big piece of work around how people are shifting their search for the perfect gift to social media platforms. In fact, just in Q1 of 2023, which is January, February, March, traffic referrals from social channels, as in for people to buy things, were up 27%. That's huge. And 3 out of every 4 shoppers say they plan to use social media to learn about products. And the data shows that in the past 3 months, and this is last month's data, more than half of consumers reported going to a physical store to see or buy product that they discovered on their social feeds. So it is really, really important that we engage with our communities and our visitors to our high streets to encourage them to experience all the lovely events, but also that's where we want them to shop. We want them to shop with our SMEs. We want them to shop local. It's very powerful for our local economy.
So, Sarah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think, it's so easy just to go that one-click buy on Amazon. We're all guilty of it. And the point is that from a local authority perspective, you have to be the curator of the local message. And I think increasingly it's a war. Amazon is starting getting people to spend their Christmas money on the 10th and 11th of October. What are you doing? I think it's got to be that brutal because you want to keep the spend in the locality. Sarah, you at Black Friday this year, where it's already coming up everywhere online, isn't
it? This was published in the Independent yesterday. Huge article about Black Friday and what deals to expect. I mean, you know, it's just massive part of the conversation. And, you know, we need to support our local businesses to really have for them to be able to compete in any way, shape or form. We have to be where the conversation is taking place, and that is on social media.
And leverage the effort they put into their content to improve your feeds, to improve the local engagement. It's a win-win for everyone. Sarah, this is a beautiful image.
Oh, I just melted when I saw it. Look at that, nearly 31,000 likes. So Chatsworth are on their case. They posted this on the 21st of September. They are ahead of the game.
Is this from last year? Or
this is now. This is what they posted this year.
Wow.
They are on it. They know that they have to be part of that conversation. And just look at the genius in the hashtags. They talk about Chatsworth, but they're even saying South Derbyshire, days out Derbyshire, family days out. They're giving even a hint of location, of place, but doesn't that just make you want to go there?
Oh, I'm going. I'm halfway there. It's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, the other interesting point I thought about this, and I think we're seeing this a lot more especially when we've been working with colleges and universities recently, how the trend of asking a question on the social feed rather than phoning up and saying, excuse me, if you look here, Mrs. Shep Unplugged at the bottom of the first comment, I really want to come, but is it possible to get around with a mobility scooter? You know, these customer service questions are more and more and more common on social media feeds. And to be responsive is extremely important. But yeah, isn't it just makes you feel festive? I'm sorry, I don't mind that it was September. I love it.
My birthday one.
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah. And another one, Fortnum.
Well, this is going back to Fortnum's. So they've nailed the Halloween thing, but you know, and they're still talking about they've got their Halloween windows posts going up as well. But you know, 25th of September. There you go. Fortnum's Christmas shop is officially open.
Yeah, so don't be backwards and coming forwards. You can talk about Christmas is the message, right?
Yeah. Get into the conversation, because we need to be engaging our local communities and divert. Well, not necessarily. I mean, look, we all think Amazon's dreadful. I'm sure there are actually a lot of our SMEs that sell on Amazon. You know, it's not the biggest devil in the world, but if they do, you know, encourage them to promote that locally. Maybe they're part of the deal days and so on. You know, I know it's massive, Amazon. It's not the biggest ogre in the world. It does represent a huge amount of SMEs, doesn't it? But we need to think about, you know, Christmas campaigns, and there are literally 100 different campaign ideas that we've put together and we're about to launch. So you're the first guys to see this. There is an awful lot of work gone into it, but you know, it's even down to, you know, looking at individual platforms and the types of content you can curate, and you know, the content that's also going, we know, because of the data that we collect from 3.9 million businesses across the UK, you know, we follow the conversation. We know what hashtags people are engaging with. We know how to engage people in communications. And it's all about just thinking about the types of content you can create. I'm going to hand over to Polly, because she's, and then I'll dive in and pick a few things out that I see. But yeah, we thought we'd give you some really good content.
Managed to switch screens. Thanks for that, Sarah. This is a piece of work that we're about to release that looks at 100 Christmas social media campaign ideas. And the idea behind this document, which we're happy to share with you, is that it's literally giving you 100 different ideas around what to do this Christmas. I went through this on a webinar actually earlier on today, and we did it from 3 perspectives. One was for a golf club, one was for a local chocolate shop, and one was for a local authority. And in the space of an hour, we only got through the first 12. But what was really interesting is that on each one, there was quite a lot of overlap. So number one, the first suggestion here is a countdown to Christmas. So it's the most wonderful time of year, only 10 days until Christmas. Join us join us for the festive countdown. Now, on the first looking at this, you think, oh, that's just something to do near Christmas. But then actually, as you go through this, there's, opportunities to do behind the scenes. So if, for example, you decide we're going to do a countdown to Christmas because the 10 days to Christmas means that you could then talk about, from a local authority perspective, last minute gift ideas, but also, bin collections, all of those things that people want to know around Christmas and start to inform. But actually, it's a campaign you can start to talk about now, because you can talk about what are the last 10 things you'll do around Christmas. And it's a great way to share those last minute stocking ideas, everything. But the conclusion we all came to was actually start working on it now. Giveaways are always an enormous success. They always are just brilliant. I had a note on this earlier on to say we must send this out with a link to our videos from Di Coke, who is the UK's leading gift person, and not gift person, beg your pardon.
Prize, yeah.
Sure. So if you need any help in setting one up, we've got all the information you need. But giveaways in the last 10 days of Christmas, they blend together. Gift guides. Now this one is just an own goal. So from a local authority perspective, every day should be a gift guide, bluntly. But right now, imagine thinking about how, and this doesn't need to be complex and technical. You've got all the tools at your fingertips with Instagram stories and reels. You could be running gift guides every single day. Decorate your feed. We discussed this at length, actually, but the idea that, if you've actually short on resource and you haven't got time to do any campaigns, actually agreeing on a mechanic that you can add to your feed so that it looks consistently Christmas from the date that you choose means that actually you can do less but get more. So this is the theme that could overlay over anything else you agree, but actually can turn all your existing content into Christmas with relatively little work. Christmas DIYs and get ready to embrace your inner artist this Christmas. Great for decoration ideas, maybe less of a local authority thing, but possibly a great way to share local decoration opportunities from local SMEs again.
That's interesting. I just sort of thought I'd dive into that first page because that's really interesting. I remember 2 years ago, I think, and I think might have done it a few times. Warwickshire County Council did an amazing run up to Christmas campaign, and they basically asked SMEs from across the county, and there's about 17 different high streets, and they used the alphabet. They did the 26 days, and each one, they had to do an A, a B. You can buy an A or order an A or a B or a C or a D or a zebra or a whatever it might be, and they encouraged their businesses to send them an image and a little bit of content, and they literally did do this amazing campaign, and the engagement that got was fantastic. So that's sort of A to Z, and that ties in quite nicely with the gift guides, doesn't it? And actually the Christmas DIYs, there are so many people already promoting, mince pie making day or wreath making days or, cinnamon bread making days. There's so many different events that you could help communities engage with, and or even just go in and put positive comments in the feeds of those people that are doing these kind of events. Go and engage in the conversation. But yeah, thought that was really interesting.
Thanks, Sarah. Have we got a question coming in from Sarah? Another Sarah. You're everywhere, Sarah. Different Sarah. Any ideas around what's the best format to do these things in? Yeah, I mean, it depends which channels you want to do. We've given a guide here around, Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, but in truth, it's whatever channels you've got. I appreciate not local authorities got all channels. And so if, make it fit your world. Obviously, if it's Instagram, you either need to put the links in the stories or you need to put a link in the bio. But, think of it as a way of showcasing your place. Recipes, you could get local restaurants involved, customer stories, get local people involved in talking about what they're doing in your place this Christmas, behind the scenes, curious about how you prepare for festive season, tell the story of how you're putting Christmas decorations up, the lights, you know, all of
The
those.
light switch on, that would be brilliant. The behind the scenes around the Christmas decoration going up on the high street. That would be lovely, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. And I think it's, you know, it's so easy to be so focused on the delivery, but it's easy to forget about all of the extra bits that you can put in to make the content so much more valuable. And all of this is about showcasing your place. 12 days of deals, great way to showcase local businesses. Stocking stuffers, perfect way to showcase local businesses. Charity drive, lead by example, demonstrate one charity that you as a local authority are supporting. Flash sales, you know, supporting your local traders, their sales. Santa's workshop, if you're going to do a grotto, you know, again, behind the scenes for that. You know, the list goes on. Now there are 100 of these. Holiday playlist, you know, is the music that could represent your place, and can you get the local community involved? And so the list goes on. This list we will share with you after the webinar. Local gift guide. Look at that. Again, you don't need to do anything technical for that, but you can use Instagram as the canvas for that. You don't need to create it. Ugly sweater day. You know, what can you find around? That's a whole hashtag day. What have you got around the town? So the opportunity to create a campaign that you can then overlay through existing content and add some fun, add some flavor that brings people to your place. I think it's really important. I hope these are helpful to you, and we'll send them out after today's webinar. And remember that everything we provide you with, if you put it into maybe AI, it will also, we can personalize it for you at the drop of a hat. So the content gets personalized automatically when you use maybe AI, and adds your tone of voice, it adds your place, and it makes it really easy to create content very, very quickly. Sarah, we'll make sure everybody gets a copy of this. But
yes, and actually, you know, could be something that they could link into a newsletter for their SMEs to use as well. Because I mean, this is for any business. This is great content that you're very welcome to share. But it's some really nice, inspiring ideas that we hoped would help, especially, you know, as we sort of just to reinforce that national conversation. And we've really got to amplify the local conversation to drive economic prosperity and pride in place this autumn and this Christmas.
Absolutely. So key message, getting social media right is hard. We make it easy. We provide the tools, the training, and we're here with a great support team to help you and your businesses make more noise. We deliver local business support. Sarah and her team have delivered over 750,000 phone calls. We've provided over £20 million worth of match funding. We've sent over 2 million emails, and we've awarded over £750,000 worth in grants to local businesses. We've trained over 25,000 businesses. And if you're thinking about doing any form of local business support, whether you'd like us to help you with it or whether you'd just like to pick our brains, please do get in touch, because yeah, we've tested most things and seen the good, bad, and the ugly of what works. And we're really passionate about helping businesses do it better, because it really matters. Through our contract with the High Street Task Force, every local authority has got access to Maybe. And so please do get in touch with Sarah to make sure you have got an account. Yes, you've all got access to Maybe through the High Street Task Force dashboard, but if you get yourself a Maybe account, you've got access to an awful lot more, and you have access to all our training. So, you know, without wishing to bang on about this too much, all of these people went to this place because they saw something there. And the question you have to ask yourself in an increasingly busy digital world, is your place making enough noise, and how can it do a few simple things a little bit better to make it so much better? So if anybody would like some one-to-one support, even if it's just chew the fat and see what their accounts look like or what their SMEs look like, please do drop Sarah a line at sarah@maybitech.com, and she will be delighted to show your account and help you get up and running, because we're here to take the guesswork out of social media, and that contributes significantly to Pride in Place and economic growth. Sarah, have you got anything to add?
No, I don't think I have, other than I am always delighted to chat, always delighted to help, and set up your Maybe accounts with you, and show you. I mean, you know, the AI piece is just so clever and so exciting. If anybody wants to find out more about the AI and the capabilities, not only for local authorities, but how you can help SMEs to get past that "I don't know what to post" question, then please do get in touch with me. I'd really love to have a chat with you. So yeah, I'm Sarah at maybetech.com.
Got a raft of questions coming in. So question, can we schedule content through Maybe as a local authority? Yes, you can. Which channels? Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and actually very exciting, we're about to launch TikTok and LinkedIn scheduling as a person as well as a business. Do you provide support? Yes, we provide support to both local authorities and local businesses. And more questions. Oh, another question coming in just now. I can't say. Oh, Marion, thank you. Thank you, Maybetech team. That's very kind of you, Marion. Great to see you. We're here, and just before we all go, actually, we do a training session every day at 10 o'clock. They're all themed, but if you've got any local businesses who are stuck, please do point them our way, because we've got an open house every day at 10 o'clock where we're very happy to help people get better at social media. Get in touch with Sarah, she'll give you all the details, and thank you very much.